Today, I want to talk about voiceover scripts. Wherever they come from, whether they're auditions or gigs, our job is to make them sound as amazing as we possibly can. In theory, this sounds easy, but the reality is that you're going to get plenty of scripts that are just okay. And while all scripts, even great scripts, require some of our magic to sound better, scripts that are just okay or even bad need even more of our magic. And here's another thing to keep in mind, especially as it concerns auditions. If you get a really great script, chances are most people, even those with little experience or little training, will sound pretty decent reading it. And that makes the competition a lot stiffer. So you will thrive if you can make an ordinary script sound great. You're gonna stand out in your VO auditions for all the right reasons, and you can even become that go-to person for clients because they'll know that you can turn their frogs into princes or princesses or non-binary royalty. You know what I mean. Before we go over some magic tricks to make your scripts sound better, I want you to shut off your email and any notifications that you have that could distract you. So if you need to take a minute, pause the video, go ahead and do that. I really want you to be present with me. And to make sure that you are, I'm going to get you to do a little warm-up with me of just the neck and head area. It's very simple, nothing fancy. It just helps us to relax and really have the information sink in. It's a little trick I learned over the years in voice therapy, and they're really great to do before a voiceover session. So here we go, very, very simple. So first, we're going to roll the shoulders back 8 times. We're going to do all the exercises 8 times. So roll back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can close your eyes while you do this. Then we're going to go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to go each side and end up in the middle. And we're always going to start again on the side we ended. So it goes like this. So we're going to start with the right. So 1, 1, center. Then we're going to start with the left. 2, 2, center. Right again. 3, 3, center. Left again. 4, 4, center. Right. 5, 5, center. 6, 6, center. 7, 7, center. 8, 8, center. Then we're going to let our head hang down and we're going to look up to the sky, count 1, come back down, look up to the sky on the other side, count 2. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a little messy there. And that's it. We're done our little warm-up. Now we can start. I do have a disclaimer that these tricks and tools I'm going to share with you work even better if you combine them with script analysis skills. These are skills you're going to learn in voice acting coaching, voiceover training, or a good acting class. So for instance, you really learn about, what's important in the script, what's not important in the script, what type of script it is, and all that tells you where to use these tools I'm about to share with you. But still, you'll be able to play around and have a lot of fun with them, which is why I'm going to share them with you. The thing to remember about these tricks is that they're designed to replicate speech, because that's what makes scripts sound better, and that's what most clients want. So just always keep that in mind when you're playing around. Trick number 1, pauses. This is really, really important. I've talked about it before. A lot of people just record their voiceovers, whether it's auditions or jobs, wall to wall. And we just don't speak like that. In life, we put pauses in all kinds of places. So it's important to try and replicate that. Also, pausing helps to draw people in. It gives people a moment to understand that something's going on and that they need to pay attention. Let's look at an example. So this is a video game piece, and it's a reply to another character. This is how most people will read it. What's going to get harder? I just fought a walking pair of teeth in a giant battleship stuck on a mountain. I'm not Tom Cruise, you know. I act. I leave that stunt shit for stunt people. There's no pauses. It doesn't breathe. We don't have time to understand what's going on here. And we don't talk like that in real life. So let's try this. What's going to get harder? I just fought a walking pair of teeth in a giant battleship stuck on a mountain. I'm not Tom Cruise, you know. I act. I leave that stunt shit for the stunt people. So see, with the pauses, it also gives me time to have different intentions, which is what we do in real life, and we'll go over that a little bit later. But pausing is really important. You can put it in the middle of sentences, between sentences, all kinds of places. So go ahead and play with that. Trick number 2, pacing. So once you decide what's important in a script and what's not, you can slow the pace down to emphasize what's important and speed up the rest. Let's look at an example. Remember shopping before Amazon? Hours of driving from store to store, fighting crowds, and still getting limited options. Amazon replaced all that with a simple, effortless experience. See, we just emphasize things with pace, and that is how we speak in real life. Sometimes we go slower to emphasize our point, sometimes we go really, really, really fast. So these are things that we're replicating in our script. Trick number 3, the dramatic build. This is something we also do in regular speech. So we'll usually do it when we recount something that happened. Like, I went to the grocery store and then there was this guy in line and then he lost his wallet and then everybody was backed up and then it caused this big kerfuffle and oh my God, it was awful, right? So we're building. So we usually use this in scripts where there are lists. Sometimes the lists are obvious, sometimes they're not. They're hidden in the script, so we have to find them. You usually find these lists in scripts like commercials, manifestos, or narrations that are promotional in nature, but sometimes even characters. Like I said, we use this in real life, so sometimes we use it when we recount a story to someone. So this is a commercial, and we have a 3-item list here with a sort of a conclusion at the end. It's a story about a woman who uses trash to power her car. Or an urban legend about a guy that saves another guy by airlifting him to a hospital. Or a myth about some kids who stole a rocket and flew to the South Pole. It's all of these things and more. Right? So we have that build, and then often when we have a build, we have a conclusion. And then sticking a big fat pause in there and playing with pace, so the list will go fast, and then that sort of conclusion goes slow, really makes that whole section fun and fun to listen to, and it draws people in. So you can see that the dramatic builds and the pauses and the pace, they all work together. Trick number 4, enunciate less. I know this is a tough one for the pros out there. Those who do some e-learning, some medical narration, or live events, you enunciate a lot because it's important that people understand you, and there might be people whose English is not their first language, and you want to be understood by all, so you enunciate a lot. It's what the clients want, and so you do that. But when we're talking about replicating natural speech, we want to enunciate a lot less, because in natural speech, we don't enunciate that much. So for example, we don't say website, we say website. We don't say visit, we say visit. Things like that. You just want to make it as spoken as possible. So that means you're also shortening things. You are, your, they are, their, things like that. You're not going quicker, you're just shortening so that it sounds more natural. Let's look at a script that isn't written naturally at all, but just with a little less enunciation, it's going to help us make it sound a little bit more natural. This video outlines biosecurity measures to implement on your site when you suspect you have a foreign animal disease. So you see, I'm not saying when you suspect you have a foreign animal disease. When you suspect you have a foreign animal disease, I'm skipping over it the way I would in real life. So that's really something that you can work on. Just grab a script, record it the way that you normally enunciate, and then listen to it and pay attention to the areas where you could enunciate less. It takes practice, but it's a wonderful tool to help you sound more natural and conversational. Trick number 5, attitude or point of view. Some people think that these are one of the same. I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you respond to most. So I'll give you an example of attitude. So I might ask you to read a script with a playful attitude, right? Or if I come at it from the point of view, I might ask you to read a script as if what you're talking about is really, really fun for you. From your point of view, you just love it and it's fun. So whatever direction works for you. And attitude or point of view is very, very important. We have to try to inject it in everything we read because it's what really makes the difference between someone just reading and someone injecting a little bit of themselves into the script. So along those same lines, you could take this a little bit further and have a different attitude or point of view or intention for almost every line so that every line is a little bit different than the rest. So, for instance, here we have 3 lines and they can all be said somewhat the same. A little background is that this character is lying. They're not saying the truth. So, you could just say, we watch TV, Modern Family probably. We love the reruns, right? And you can get away with that. But if you carve it up a little bit more and have a different intention for every line, now it becomes even more interesting. So I could say, we watch TV, Modern Family probably. We love the reruns, right? So there are 3 different intentions. In the first one, I'm coming up with my lie. In the second one, I'm trying to sell it to you. And in the third one, I'm trying to get you off my back. So there's slight different intentions, but they just make the script come alive. So last tip, but not the least, improv. I've talked about this before, and it's really important because in real life, we're not rehearsed. We just are who we are. We don't know what we're going to say next. And so it's great if we can bring that sort of energy to a script. It's really helpful to improv in auditions, but also sometimes clients, they'll want you to improv with their script, either because they're not happy with their script or because they just want to leave you room to play. So it's a good skill to have. So if you've ever been interested in improv, go and get that training. You will not regret it. It's very useful for voice acting and for voiceovers. So here's a script that is perfect for improv. It's a commercial, and it's TV. And it's rare that we can improv for TV, but this one was really conducive to that. So basically, it's sort of an announcer who's describing a scene on an airplane, and they get distracted by food. And the commercial is selling food or food service. So I'll just show you what you can do. It's just to show you that we don't want you to change the script. You don't want to offend the copywriter who spent a lot of time writing the script by changing it completely. You just want to add a little bit of your own energy and your own twist to it. So here's an example. Up here, the sky's the limit. We believe in the miracle of, Yiro. We believe in Yiro. No. Go back to the Yiro. Boo! This guy's in a Yiro! Boo, 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 boo all over you! Give me the Yiro! Yiro! Give me the freaking Yiro! Give me the freaking Yiro! Right, and what I could do here is fade out on that last ending so it sounds like I'm being taken away. So this is something you can do as an editing little trick to help you. And that's part of improv. You don't want to start adding sound effects and things like that, but that's just a fun thing that you're doing with your voice to pretend that you're being like carried away, right? So the goal is just to inject more of yourself into the script because that's what we do in real life. We're just who we are. We're unrehearsed. We're unscripted. And so if we could bring a little bit of that energy, it just makes the script sound so much better than it really is. I hope you enjoyed these tricks and will try them. The goal is always to try and sound as natural as possible. Not all scripts require this, but a lot of them do, and clients just love it when you can do that. It'll help you book more work. So I hope you try them. Tell me about it in the comments. I love interacting with you and getting to know you. On that note, I'll see you next time.